Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Connect Groups. Can you believe we are actually at the end of our relationship series? It just has gone by so quickly, but I'll tell you, it has been an incredible series. I have received a ton of positive feedback from how the messages on Sundays have connected to you and then how you have discussed it in your groups. Not only that, but on a weekly basis, we get reports from all of our Connect groups about how it's making a difference in their lives. Some of the stories we've heard about groups coming and surrounding people that are in crisis in their lives, doing meals for them when they're sick, just being an encouragement, even financially supporting and blessing each other. It's been incredible to hear the stories. And so I want to thank each one of you for making the last few weeks a priority in your life of connecting in relationships. Now, for you that are in the host groups, this means your groups are coming to an end. So I want to encourage you, feel free to continue as a group. Now, some of you can't because you've already made commitments, and I understand that. But here's what I want to encourage you. If you cannot continue in your groups, then make it a priority that come January, you re-sign up for a Connect group and get connected in those relationships. Here's the reason why. They will be a blessing to you, but also you will be a blessing to others. And I hope you have realized that over the last 7 weeks. So let's talk about what we discussed this past Sunday. We talked about the idea of our relationship with those who are not yet in a relationship with Jesus Christ and how we're supposed to respond to them, the example we're supposed to set. So when we think about this relationship, Jesus said a powerful statement, and I'm summarizing it in a way that has become popular in the church world, but Jesus basically said that we are in the world, but we're not of the world, which means we are in the culture of the world, and what that means is a culture not governed by biblical principles, and we realize this is true now. We live in a country that is no longer founded on Christian principles. It might have once been, but people do not govern their lives by the standards of Scripture, and so we live in a culture that does not follow God, so we're in it, but we're not supposed to mimic it or follow it. So what did Jesus call us to do? Well, he called us to be the salt and the light, to be the example. How are we the example? We are the example by how we love. Now think about it. Of all the things Jesus could have said, he said, people will know you're my disciples. He could have said anything. He could have said, by the amount of Scripture you've memorized, or how generous you are in your finances, or, he could have said a dozen, hundreds of different things. But instead he goes, this is how people will know you're my disciples, if you love one another. And what we discussed is, it's not a basic love where you love those who loved you. Everybody can do that. That's normal. If you don't love the people who love you, then you're actually abnormal. What Jesus is saying is that we have a type of love that is so radical and so different that it becomes attractive. This is what it means to be the light, to be the example. So here's the challenge. Is that the way that you love? When people are unlovable, do you love them still? When people are rude to you, do you love them still? When people wound you and say evil things to you and about you, do you respond in love? That's the example that Jesus called us to do. And here's the reason why. I want this statement to sink into your mind and heart. Because love leads the way. Love leads the way to a discussion, to a relational connection. When you are loving in a radical way, you become attractive. People want to know your story. And so love leads the way to hope. And this is what Peter said. Every single one of us should be ready and willing to give a defense for the hope that we have. What that means is when people come to us and they say, why do you love this way? Why do you have optimism for the future? What's going on? You can say to them, it's because of what Jesus has done in my life. You have to first love so that you become attractive. This is shining the light. But then also through that love, when they come to you, you get to proclaim the good news, the gospel message about Jesus to them. So often people try to get this out of order, try to share the gospel message before ever connecting in love. It might work, it has worked, but it's not the best way that Jesus has given us. Instead, we love radically, become attractive, and when they're drawn to us, we can tell them the best news ever for their life. And this continues in love. We don't look at them as a means to an end. We're not looking at love as a means to an end. The end is we truly love people and we want them to connect to Jesus. This is the greatest gift that we have to give because it is the greatest gift ever given. So the challenge for all of us, and this is what you'll discuss in your group, how are you radically loving? What are the relationships in your life that you realize now you need to change how you're acting and behaving? What are the things in your life, the normal behaviors of your life that if you're being honest are not attractive? They're not radically different. how you're operating in your work environment, how you're operating in your relationships, how you're treating your kids, how you even drive, how you are in restaurants, all of these things. Are you living in such a radical way that people go, man, I got to know their story. I got to know what's different about them. Everyone, I hope your discussion goes great. Again, for those who are in the group, I hope it was a blessing to your life, and I want to thank you for making this a priority. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you this Sunday.